Spain. Change of coach during the summer. Carlo Ancelotti dispatched after a second place finish last season, and Rafa Benitez brought in. Ancelotti being sized up by a lot of MLS clubs at the moment apparently, but no doubt he'll pop up somewhere big very soon. Played wide for La. Very easy cut out in the end for Sergio Ramos. Disappointment having finished third the season before last, obviously tempered by lifting La Decima, the 10th Champions League crown. Lucas Vazquez, who's just come up from the B team, Real Madrid Castilla, and his manager there, Zinedine Zidane, is Isco. To calm things down, Real did have a C team, and quite a few of their Champions League squad, the youngsters that are brought in to bolster things up, had featured for them, and quite a few of their squad tonight have also, at one time or another, played for Real Madrid C, but that team wound up during the summer, and they've been in existence since 1950. Had been known as Real Madrid Amateurs for quite a while, set up by fans of the club and brought into the club then around 25 years ago. Money-saving exercise. Even Real are tightening their belts now. Long by Pepe, too long.
Yeah, I think they'll look for that ball though. Lucas Vazquez is extremely quick, really lightning pace. The likes of him out there this evening, that is a ball that can work for them. As I've said, the quality of the opposition might just pick it off a little bit simpler than others, but he is really quick, and they will look for that ball across the back.
Alaba. It's one of the forward changes tonight. Joshua Kimmich, who went off very early as a result of the challenge of Nigel de Jong last night, went off 20 minutes in, and there was that tunnel bust-up between de Jong and Pep Guardiola, which we showed you last night, and obviously you'll have read a lot more about today. Well, Kimmich has been given the all-clear. He's not involved in any capacity tonight. Been told by club doctors to rest. They hope he'll be okay for the cup game away at Nottingham the weekend to get the competitive season underway properly for Bayern, but he will probably miss it. Been told to miss training for a couple of days. The new signing from Stuttgart.
Well, I think it's fair to say we have seen one or two robust challenges in the game so far, but generally speaking, I think there seems to be a little bit of a pact between the players to keep things very simple if they can.
Dani Carvajal putting the foot down, centered for Isco. Couldn't find a way through. Casemiro with the tee up, and what a fine strike that was from 30 yards. Toni Kroos back in his old stomping ground and almost marking it with a goal.
Yeah, good strike, good piece of play. Nice burst down the right-hand side, Carvajal. Kroos a little bit wide. I think it's got well covered there by Neuer. If we just go back to that little conversation we're having about tackling, I think you can actually see, we've seen on one or two of the players talking to each other during the game, and when there has been little incidents, almost saying to each other, look, no tackling, haven't they really? They've been, seems to be a pact between the teams not to be overly strong on the challenge. We have seen one or two, but generally speaking, I think the players have taken this on board and are looking very much to look after each other, but to make sure they're ready for their own particular seasons at the start.
Real still have another friendly to come, and it's against the Norwegian club Vålerenga next weekend before 23rd of August. Big kick-off in Spain against Sporting Gijón. Betis, their first home game. Granada, their second home game. I assume they scored 9 at the Bernabeu last season. Very well covered by Marcelo, and that will be a goal kick.
Well, already you see the difference in how Madrid set themselves up, their energy levels, the way they work across the back four are protected. Last night we saw AC Milan completely cut into pieces by this very talented Bayern Munich side, of course, but we're already seeing the respect each team has for each other.
That's a very good pullback by Kesse. Corner will be Rafinha covering, and Real looking very frisky up front. 10 minutes played.
End to end, very athletic. What people do forget at times is that, you know, quality brings itself athleticism as well. That's very much part of the DNF of a top player. He has to be athletic.
Wonderful overhead kick, little bit of a stretch, almost paid major dividends. Ramos had made his way forward for Real, and Bayern defensively looked somewhat static. In terms of the International Champions Cup, if you found it hard to follow, Real Madrid taking 2 titles in that, the Australian and Chinese legs, and Paris Saint-Germain won the United States swing. What a storming shot! Alaba! Muller's follow through, but what a strike by Alaba, and Keylor Navas did very well to stop that. That moved brilliantly mid-air.
There's a bit of everything here. Alaba with a great strike, Navas saves it, and just look at the belief there, looking for the pieces. Navas does ever so well to keep it out.
Now the follow through from Philipp Lahm, going where many would fear to tread, hitting it wide in the end. The start has been lively at both ends. Marcelo. Forward for Lucas Vazquez. Challenge from Mehdi Benatia, the Moroccan international who came a year ago from Roma for 26 million euros. His foul, Real's free kick. Manuel Neuer back in between the posts in place of Sven Ulreich tonight.
Yeah, chance for one of the Real players to show what they're about. Generally speaking, Ronaldo and Bale will probably take over this situation, so I think one or two might be just wanting to show the manager just exactly what they can do.
It's a different cue this time, but cue Toni Kroos didn't go for it direct. Well, Ramos first went with the head, it ended up being a shot. He was claiming a drag back on him to Felix Breich.
He's always been in those positions, and not only from set pieces. I think in his very younger days he used to play right back, centre back, but he was the most forward-thinking defender I'd ever seen when he was very young. You couldn't stop him running forward. Now he chooses his moments a lot better, doesn't he? But he's always been a threat in the box as Ramos.
Wasn't sent off last season. 19 of those in his career. That's a good ball headed away by Pepe, who has fallen foul of officialdom quite regularly himself. Just lovely control by Marcelo to get it away. The chase was on for Kesse. A Las Palmas boy who missed the end of the season with a torn ACL on the right knee. this is a lot more like a proper occasion compared to last night's semi-final where Bayern had it quite easy. Now it is Pepe who's gone down, and how the cup final or not, there is a little twinge, and they won't want to risk him any further. And not only that, but Jerome Boateng, who hasn't featured a huge amount so far in this game, also receiving a little bit.
I think that last sprint, Boateng, was a big test for him. 2 games, 2 days. I think we forget what it's all about with that. This is a blow for...
Nacho's going to come on to replace Pepe, and only 15 minutes played. Drinks break for everyone else. But that's the end of Pepe's cup final at the Allianz Arena, and Nacho will be his replacement.
Well, for me, this is the downside of these tournaments from the players' point of view. 2 games in 2 days. I know a lot's said about, oh, come on, get on with it, lads. You're fit enough to do this, but the way these boys play the game, that last sprint from Boateng was a great example. I watched him, and straight away I thought to myself, oh, he's really tested himself there. He's had a hard game last night. He's ran straight into a situation flat out against another quality player, and that's why you do get these little twists and strains. It's a big test. And at this stage, prior to the season starting, the last thing you want is a full hamstring strain, calf strain. You could miss 4 or 6 weeks at the start of the season with something like that.
But Bayern's first league game will be their 10th match since coming back together. I think they have another friendly to be played midweek immediately after that. I mean, when you were a manager, what was the optimum number of games to tune up?
Again, these tournaments weren't so much in existence. There were tournaments, but they were less of a high nature that these are. These are such high profile. The players are on show, television all over the world watching them. It's still a high profile game, even though they're on and off, and there's a lot more flexibility for the managers. It's still physically very demanding for players to play 2 games in 2 days. Once again, you can see the better players tend to be picked. Pepe's picked, Ramos is picked, you know, and so that there, Marcelo's out there again, and Vidal's there for Douglas Costa's there. If you just keep on through the teams, they always have a nucleus of 5 or 6 players who seem to play the majority of the games the players. Those lads are really tested.
So Nacho on to replace Pepe, and this one of the most watched pre-season tournaments. International Champions Cup is a beast of itself. Leaving that out, this tournament, as big as it gets, 164 countries are watching this live tonight. Things have moved on a bit for the days of the Makita Trophy. Carvajal. In terms of pre-season competitions, probably the earliest that our older viewers will probably remember might be the Watney Cup, which they played in the early 70s, where it was the top scoring team from each of the 4 divisions in England used to be in it.
Yeah. As I said, there are a lot of differences. As I said, I think we talked about it briefly last night. You know, my final game probably would have been in an ideal situation 7 days before the season started, and I would have wanted to have played my team that I had very much in my thoughts for sort of 60 or 70 minutes of that game, then give them the whole week on that training ground just to fine-tune all the little pieces. But these sort of games, as we've seen Tottenham Hotspur play again today,